And he may have said last, I don't remember exactly, I don't remember last month if he said, too much stuff has happened in between last month.
Say, he used to always go down to spring training all the time.
Right.
For a little while.
That's probably where they're both at, but usually they'll send us a note approving a bill, so we'll just have to get that.
We'll send it out, yeah, I'll have Teresa when she gets back, send it out to him and.
Gotta pay the man. It's one thing about working for the government. You can do the work 1 month, it might be 3 months later before you ever get paid for it, right?
It's not just the
Contractors, there's some
government.
contractors like that too.
Well, yeah,
It's not just the government.
I was gonna say, yeah, let's talk to my wife, she does bookkeeping for a concrete company, oh my God. Every morning I hear about it, it's like,
Yeah.
so-and-so isn't paid, so-and-so isn't paid, so-and-so isn't paid. Then she
Amazing
goes,
how many times I'll lose an invoice.
We had, we never got it. Permanent was terrible. They sent 3 of them, and they're all dated the same.
people like to get paid.
yeah,
Then all of a sudden they
They're
sent
not doing it for their health, and the smaller the
Yeah.
company, the worse it is.
yeah. Well, that's like my wife, the company she works for, this guy's got, I
any of the 3 of those.
think, a total of 15 employees, that's 2 office staff, himself and
And the guys
employees.
put them where you
Yeah.
got mad at all.
Does concrete, so he has to have concrete delivered, well,
Yeah, it's crazy.
you can't pay for the concrete,
They just,
because you gotta not, you gotta let, in his industry,
I'd like to
you
turn
have
them
to
around.
yeah. You know, I don't.
not pay the
stuff sitting around,
concrete, because if the
there's a lot of
person doesn't pay,
contractors
then you let, then the concrete company has to
do
go
it for
lean
them,
it.
like, you know,
But he does
one of them in
concrete for
particular,
buildings.
I know it's gonna
Yes.
be.
So if they don't pay, well, he holds off on
And then
the
I'm gonna have to
concrete,
call him
so
2
the
times and
company puts the lien
he's
in,
like, oh,
person
I'll
gets
get it,
concrete.
you know, but.
Or if he pays for
Then
it,
if you have them do something, it's like, need half down and.
she's always juggling.
Yeah, I remember when we built our house, we got those paid knows, yeah, he wants to hear about the utility bills.
We've already talked.
You know, I think we missed a lot of things letting the public know it was coming up. I looked at it,
Mike, I'm gonna fix that.
personally, I
like
looked
that.
at it,
Okay, thank
what the
you.
hell is this?
I think Steve was here too,
February, we got a new rate.
last month.
And I missed you too, and I
But,
put you absent too.
Did you? I don't know.
Yeah, I
didn't
think so.
look at it.
I
coulda
think
had
I
that in the last bill
didn't make the
insert.
changes on the actual.
Paper.
It doesn't matter to me.
I'll fix
Kinda like
that.
Second Street, we need to put more in the paper
Yeah.
like Second Street.
I'm gonna go down to 16 cents an
We
hour.
had a meeting last night that I went, or yesterday afternoon. It's time to start this meeting. You ready, Teresa?
Yes, sir.
All right. Like to call this meeting to order. City of Washington Board of Public Works, Tuesday, February 27th, 7:30 a.m. Roll call, please.
John Fitmer,
Here.
Brad Mitchell,
Here.
Mike Ratatek, Steve Richardson, Mike Coulter,
Here,
Chad Briggs, Steve Struberg.
Here.
Okay.
All right, rise for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one
one
nation.
nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. It's a good day to get an early start. Oh, you guys been working for an hour already. Approval of the minutes. I think we have a couple of changes. So, before, you already got those?
Yes,
Mike was here and
Yes.
Steve was here. Motion?
Motion.
Second? Second. All in favor? Aye.
Gotta change your voice, Brad.
So I guess this won't be an official voting meeting because we don't have a quorum of the board.
Yes. So what we'll do is, we'll go through the pay process and everything, and then we will send out an email to the 2 members that are not here and get their approval, official approval over email. We've done that a few times before.
Yeah.
So that's how we'll handle it, but because we have to have the meeting once a month, we have to have the meeting, so, we'll just go through the motions and then, finalize it up afterwards with emails.
And this is just one of those meetings you never want to not be at anyway.
Yeah.
We're going to meet every month.
Every month. every month.
Priority items, maybe? No?
No, I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there, but how much we wanna call priority or not.
Okay, we'll take that,
Nothing really technically priority.
we'll take that. Wastewater,
Well, as far as operations, everything's going okay. As we all know about the increase, we've been, we did it, and now got some things going on. But as far as the operations of wastewater, it's going pretty good. We got our eye trackers in down on the riverfront, those units that we bought to watch for inflow. We got them down. We had to raise manholes to get it done, but we got all of our manholes raised on the riverfront, on the east side. Some of them were, how deep was the one of them? 3 foot probably? Yeah, so we had to do a lot of work on that. The guys did a good job on that. We got some cleanup to do down there yet, but other than that, that's working good. We did find a manhole that did not have a lid on it,
oh,
which we hadn't found them manholes, I've been here 24 years, and we never really knew where they were all at. So we took the time this year and we went and found them all. We found one that was buried under ivy that wasn't even seen, you couldn't even see it, and we found it, and that's one that didn't have a manhole on it, a lid on it. And it is actually the second one from the lift station, and it's right in between, the second manhole down from where the first storm drain comes underneath the railroad tracks. So plan on, we can figure we're probably taking on quite a bit of rainwater,
Quite a bit of
storm water
rainwater,
through
yeah.
there, so that should help out. We'll see on the next rain event, if that's the case, because we'll notice it on Walnut Street Lift Station, which is good, and the eye trackers will tell us too, so they are in and they're working. We pulled a report on them yesterday. I haven't really reviewed a whole lot of it yet, but it shows they're actually working, because for some reason we noticed, and I haven't forgot which manholes yet, but we did take some inflow of something, even in the dry weather. So that's to tell us, is that we're getting something. So we know we're getting something, we're just not sure where yet. Haven't really had time to
where
analyze.
it's coming from, yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway, so I'd let you know, you let me purchase those, and we do have them out in the system, and they are working, so that's a good thing. That'll really help us out as we keep branching out and moving forward, so.
Okay. Water, we've got an invoice from KJ Understall for some things at the water tank, the guardrail and a water thing, so.
Yeah, and a concrete ring around the base of the tank, and then part of the storm drain discharge pipe and all that stuff had to be done, so they got all that done. So staff is requesting payment of that. I think it's for 15 something and some change. Anyway.
$14,009 and some cents.
14, yeah. Yeah, there it is. So anyway, and the tank is moving forward, so I got a little bit of a report for that when we get down to that on the tank.
All right, well,
Motion to approve the.
motion to approve and a second, and the two of us, aye?
Aye.
So we'll pass it on to Steve and Mike and get their approval before you can
Yep.
send it to the council. Okay. We'll let that go. Well, now we're at the water tank.
Yes, so, I got an email from the tank painting company last week that they were gonna kinda come in this week and start painting. I didn't see if they were out there yesterday. I went out early yesterday morning. They wasn't on site yet. I didn't make it out there in the afternoon, so I'll run out there today. So they're working, or they may have looked at the weather and decided to hold off until after this little bit of cold weather, because they can't do anything when it's cold like this. They have to sandblast first, and wouldn't think they'd want to start sandblasting and then have to pull off and come back and redo what they did. So I'll know more about that. But they're coming in, they want to get the tank done, so they're looking at they're wanting to get it done. So we may have a tank done by April,
How many
or March actually, so.
days, what's the time period for them to,
It'll take them, they didn't really give me a time, a plan on a time, but from the other tanks, it usually takes about 4 days to sandblast the tank, and then it'll take another 2 days to prime it, and then another, and they'll let that sit a couple days, and then 2 days to paint it, but they gotta paint inside and outside, so we're probably looking at about, pretty close to a month's worth of time painting. So, yeah, but it's coming along.
coming along?
Coming
Yeah,
along.
that's good. we'll get that done and in service.
Yep, and in service, and that'll
In
be.
service this summer, or?
Oh, definitely, it'll be in service.
Later this
yeah,
spring.
It'll be in service by June. By
Okay.
June. But it looks like they're moving a little bit ahead of schedule, so, which is good, so. That's that. And then the
So Second Street, you're all the way down to the end.
Second Street, as far as water's concerned, is 100% done. We
That's
are done
good.
with Second Street. So, everybody is on the new PVC line. All the fire hydrants were changed out to, what do we call, a 6-inch shoe instead of a 4-inch shoe. Whoop. Yes, Mayor?
They had a meeting yesterday, Kurt Armstrong Sky. If you'd like, I went to the meeting.
Yes, please, yes.
Morning, everybody. Kurt Sky Mike gave an update on the resurfacing of Second Street. I know water is done. Thanks for doing that. That was an unexpected, I believe.
Yeah, that one was not really planned. It was kind of
Right.
thrown in, in the end of the interim. Yeah, but anyway, it's a good thing we did. I mean, we should always be improving our older infrastructure, which is that part of town.
How many water breaks did we have this year, or last year, recently?
Last year, what we ended up with 8,
Yeah.
like within a month, about in a month, we ended up with like 8.
Yeah, and, you know, if we wouldn't do that, then we'd be tearing up Second Street after we improved it, and that's
Exactly.
not
I
right.
don't want to do that.
Anyway, Mike Sky gave us an update, and because of the pavers that we're gonna put in, they will form a square around each intersection. It's gonna be a week to put the pavers in, another week to let them cure, because they are getting a concrete basin that the bricks are gonna set in. And so what that means is that entire intersection is going to be unusable for a period of 2 weeks. So they're gonna start with intersection of Lafayette and Second Street first. That way traffic can divert around it. It's still gonna be an inconvenience, especially when we get over towards Borgia Church and Grade School. And, but this was done by design so that Mike and his guys from KJU and the city can learn with a relatively lower amount of disruption. If we would start off on Main Street first, we'd have to learn, and we don't want to learn there. We want to learn in a street that has less business and less traffic. And so that's what's going on. Mike fully admits that. He is anxious to see how that learning process goes, because he's never done anything like this before. So anyway, that's the latest. They anticipate being able to have everything paved and done by, what's our first festival? Barbecue and Blues Fest?
RQ Blues Fest.
Yeah.
April 28th.
Yeah, he's anticipating being done for that, which is huge.
Good.
Thanks, guys.
So, Kevin, I have a question on that. Mike did mention the elevations, and he threw in, as long as the manholes are at the right level. If there's work to do on raising or lowering the manhole, is that you or is that on him?
That's gonna have to fall on them, because we was never informed of any manhole issues that were going to be there. If they need to be raised, they'll pave over them, we'll cut them out with our Mr. Manhole machine. If they need to be lowered, that's a whole different ballgame, because then you gotta go in and see, and if those are brick manholes, then you gotta get in and take like one row of bricks out, it becomes a whole different
Right.
ballgame. So, I don't know of any, nobody's contacted me yet of any issues with manholes.
Well,
I'm sure I won't know about it until the paver rolls in and they say, hey, we got a manhole problem, and then we'll have to drop
Yeah.
everything we're doing and rush down there and do something. That happens every time, but it's the way it is.
well, when he was talking about that, and he was very detailed about the 2 weeks' worth of work, and then he threw in, as long as, you know, the water holes and the manholes, and I thought, oh, that's gonna change 2 weeks in a hurry, so.
They should
guess we'll have to keep an eye on
They
that.
should be finding out all that information while they're milling the road off, because they're gonna know they should know what the elevation of the asphalt's gonna be, so they should be able to determine at that point in time, does anything need to be raised or lowered?
Okay,
So hopefully they're on top of that, and they will be able to let us know if anything needs to be done. We haven't heard anything yet. And I know they're pretty much almost done with paving, or with milling, I do believe. So there should be something out there, but I have not heard yet.
Okay, just checking.
Good question, though.
Well, you know, it's
It
just,
happens every time we do any kind of
well,
overlay.
it does, see, and those are the things, then we put a schedule out, we say this is how it's gonna be, and then it's always something like that at the last minute that potentially adds days or other time that we have to backtrack and say, well, we missed this, or we missed that. And then again, it's like, well, we really didn't miss anything, it's just part of the process to know where it all goes. And I think that's one of the publicity things on this whole project. Well, it's taking longer because of this, or it's taking longer because of that. That's not necessarily what I heard yesterday. Everything it's a big machine up there, and there's one thing leads to the next. Everybody's getting their part done, it just takes a while.
And sometimes in these kind of projects, you do have to wait for somebody else to get done. Like, we had to wait until they got done with Second and Cedar before we could go put our last line in. And that's just in the way the process goes, especially when we're running together in a project. Ideally, you would come in with your water line replacement first, get that all done, then you would come in with your concrete work, and then you would come in with your asphalt work, and it would be a process like that. That's generally how it works. But when you're doing rebuild stuff like what we were doing on, what's happening on Second Street, and the way it was all thrown together kind of differently, because I don't think KJU was supposed to start when they did, but they came in and requested starting sooner. So it threw us in the same time as them, working on a water line and everything. But because we went through all of these problems and all these issues on Second Street, I feel we're gonna have a lot better path when we go to Main Street to walk down, because we kind of know what not to do. Like, we know we're gonna replace the water line on Main Street, because we've had numerous water main breaks on that. We have a continuous situation at one spot that we don't think it's a water line, but we're gonna know when we replace the line. So we're gonna try and get in there ahead of all of that. So it's all really a scheduling thing and making sure everybody's on the same, plan. But Second Street was just kind of it was a good plan, but it was kind of changed and thrown around a little bit. And the next thing you know, it's boom, everybody's there at the same time. It's like,
Yeah.
okay. But that's Main Street, I know within the city, as far as talking within the city, like with Charles, we realize that there is things that we learned on Second Street that we will not and do not want to have happen on Main Street, because Main Street is a complete different project as far as businesses and locations and everything, that we're gonna have to really work really tight. So, like us with the water department, our plan is we're gonna go block by block, try to do the same thing we did on Second Street. It worked out pretty good. We get one block done, and then we move to the next block, instead of just trying to go all the way through and put the water line in and then come back and make all the connections. We're trying to get it set up, because we're replacing fire hydrants as we go through, to be able to do that block, get everybody tied into that line on that block, and then move to the next block and do the same thing. So we're really just hopefully inconveniencing one block at a time, if it works that way. That's the plan. Plans are always known to fall apart, but especially downtown, it is a lot of old stuff down there. But anyway, that's the plan, so yes.
Well,
I know I'm talking a lot, but I just want everybody to know that we realize that Second Street, it's a good project, but how it was kind of juggled together, where we know on Main Street, we cannot do that, so.
right. Well, the one thing, and Mr. Mayor, you could probably comment on this, from the group that was there yesterday, and it was some business owners and residents, but the explanation was very good, and comment-wise, I heard more positive, liking the way it's gonna end up looking, and, we know it's gonna be a while to get it done, but they were appreciative of what the project was gonna bring, so, I think that's a good note. That's a good note. Okay, Kevin. Anything else? Any other discussion from anyone? All right, so we can adjourn our unofficial meeting, since we're not having a quorum, but a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned, thank you all.
Everybody?
Yeah, it's it's good to have a meeting, just like the service organizations. You meet every week, so you stay in tune, you know what's going on.
Working today or taking?
No, I'm working.
Staying busy.
Who signs this anyway? Does Steve sign this?
We're gonna do this till.
I mean, Mike signs it? We can't sign it today anyway.
Want me to sign the bill and then hold it?
Yeah.
You'll hold, I won't date it.
Have a good one. You too.
I won't date it. That way, when you get the official notes, it'll all match up. How's that? Okay.